Hello, my fellow teabagging bronze players. I'm Mr. Church. The reason why it's been a while is because I am sick. You can hear it in my voice. We're going to be building here next to the retreat in Haven Church and, uh, what was that place? Dire Chemical on the river here. What we're going to be doing is making a swamp witch hut. I'm, of course, being a swamp witch. Uh, in this area, so we're going to be doing that immediately. This is the location, and I'm in the free cam mode, which I'm going to be using in this video so I don't get crucified again in the comments section for choosing not to do that thing that was called free cam mode. Instead, can't control it. What we're going to be trying to build here is, as I said, a swamp witch hut. Did I say that? I don't know. So sometimes there's a thing called internal dialogue and external dialogue, and I don't know the difference. And that's causing quite a lot of problems in my life, but we're not going to worry about that. We're going to place down a foundation here next to the stump. Be careful that you don't accidentally delete the stump when you place things in next to it. That can happen. We're using it mostly as a measuring ability, and then we're going to put the barren elm tree all the way around it. And these are going to be our measuring for the four sides of this foundation piece. I think that's going to be fine. And again, the actual reason why I haven't been around for a while is someone named Fledgy Elm Flop or something commented on my last video, and they said that the videos would be better without the commentary. And obviously this sent me into a spiraling depression because Fledgy Flomtrom, obviously you guys know I have modeled my entire channel around making Fledgy Flomtrom happy and making them like my content. So this was really devastating, and I spent a lot of time, in bed and watching movies and binge eating coconuts. And I've been, people have tried to come to the door, and I've been not answering texts. There hasn't been much showering. But those are just normal things. But like the depression part of it it's real. And Fledgy Flomtrum says he doesn't like your commentary. How would you feel? It's, in fact, it's like just demoralizing. I spent all this time making my channel so that specifically Fledgy Flomtrum would like the content and the commentary. So to hear that was a bit of a shock to me. I know that some of you, might be thinking, wow, that's a really hard blow that you took there. And it is. I don't even know how to process the information, but I've been spending a lot of time, surrounded by friends and loved ones through this, we're just trying to make it through this hard time. I immediately scheduled a therapy appointment, and hopefully one day things will be okay again. In the meantime, I guess we're gonna burn these elm trees or something. So this is basically the premise of the build here. We have these elm trees in a circle to make one big tree. We're burning the first layer so that we can place even more down and stick them between them, Given that isn't rocket science, I hadn't explained that quite yet. I thought maybe the visual cues on the screen could be helpful to some of you if you needed that. I didn't really know what saying what was going on here would add. And after Flemmy Trom, obviously, it's really hard for me to just step out of my comfort zone and say things. Like now, I'm overthinking everything that I'm saying. Like, should I say something about the economy? No. How about a callback joke from? It's just too hard, Then you get in your head, this spot right here, huge gap, and I don't know why. Can't put anything there because it says it's outside the build area when I try to. Obviously, that isn't correct, and I can put this table there, but I don't think the table's very convincing as a piece of log for the tree. You know, I don't know why anything in this game happens, but luckily they gave us error codes that are all incorrect. So when something goes wrong, you can look on the screen and know for sure what isn't the problem. But you can probably already tell that that's not the problem if it's saying that you're outside the build area in a small line that goes down the middle of your camp zone. Don't worry about it. And if you're new to the game, just, you probably don't want to build this. Actually, you probably don't want to even if you're not new to the game. I can't actually picture anyone wanting to build this. Why? I'm not sure why you're watching this tutorial video, but appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. It's more of a, it's a suggestion, you know? It's like you could build this if you want to. Now, when all this is burned, this is going to be the floor, but you can't just place the foundation in the burned item. It says no. But a lot of times when you can't place a foundation in something, you can still snap it into something. So if there's one next to it, we would be able to snap a second one into that space. So now it's all about just lining it up so that when we snap two over, the second one will be right in the middle. And this is obviously really fun and easy to do. Just simply move the original foundation around about 25,000 times. By the time you finish and get it in place, luckily, Starfield will be out, or Fallout 5, so you won't have to finish the build. And I think that's a good strategy personally. But don't worry about it. Now, I also thought it was very interesting that it was like 2008 or something. Perms tried to make a comeback. Not sure what that was all about. You know, people actually were like curling their hair artificially and taking pictures like it wasn't an accident. They were like, you know what we should do? Let's go to Hawaii. Let's get a perm and go to Hawaii. That was just my sister that did that, actually. I wonder if that was like a... wonder if she was alone in that. Did people have perms in 2008? I don't know. All I remember really from 2008 was absolutely nothing. Let's get out of this situation. I put this other elm tree shit inside the broken walls. First of all, it actually went down in that space, and second, it added a little bit of foliage to the overall build. Then, of course, during the time you're building this, you're going to have to burn stuff over and over again. Also, you may notice I didn't say anything because I was explaining about Flabby Schlamflam in his mean comments. But if you're in free cam mode and you get out of free cam mode, or you leave build mode, you're gonna be way the fuck away. So if you want to use the burning trap to burn stuff, instead of going out, walking over to activate it, you can just stay in free cam mode, stay in the build mode, and just hook it up to a generator. It'll provide it with power and it'll start burning things. That's obvious, you know, and we've all known we could do that for many years, but we've been choosing to do it the hard way because I think, why would you do something in an easier way when you can do something the hard way? So that's why we're burning over and over again this thing. Now at this point of the build, you're going to go to the pumpkin house, and you're going to have an instant load screen because you edited the video, and then you're going to walk super fast because you took like way too much speed demon serums. I took 15, And you're gonna shoot this thing and then take this Halloween costume witch hat. Some of you will have the plans and you'll be able to build it, but some of you won't because you suck. I'm just kidding. I couldn't build it either. I'm not saying I don't suck. I'm just saying, that isn't the test to determine your suckiness. If you still think you suck, I'm not the judge of that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I'm not going to stick around to find out. Okay, no offense. So what I've done is I've drop merged this using that pressure plate, and I'll show you how to do that if you don't know how in a moment, but you probably do know how. And if you don't, you're learning nothing so far. So good tutorial, nice job, good video. Glad you made it. So what I've done is I've removed temporarily the foundation in here, but I've kept these, so we have a way of getting it back in and we know exactly where it'll be. And this allows me to place this sunken down mannequin into the ground, because otherwise the mannequin's going to intersect with the foundation, and then you can snap it in after the fact. So we've sunk this down. You just put the mannequin on the bookcase, and then you can use the drop merge, which I'll show you in a moment how that works simply if you don't know how to do that. Now, this is obviously a prop so that there will be a witch hat sitting in our house. We've also moved that at an angle to try to open up the area inside the build a bit so you can see, so it feels bigger. It's a very, very small space. And you can just snap the floor back in. Can't see fuck all. That's okay. At this point, there is I can put some mushroom stumps around. I don't know. That's something we can put in. So I have this, which I've put these brain jars on the top and then drop merge them down so they're on the bottom, and I'll show you how that works. With this one, I'm going to take some, I guess, these cowboy? No. Let's take some, what are they called? Succulents, I guess. And just scroll like an hour and a half until you find them. It's fine. I'm glad we have so much stuff, but sometimes it's a real bitch when you're trying to scroll through all your stuff and it's so laggy. It takes like 25 days. So I'm going to use this one that looks like lettuce, and I'm going to place it around here. And then I'm going to take this pressure plate that I've got right here, and you're just going to place it down and then grab it and place it down again. That's going to push the button down on it, and you can just place this over and over again. The stuff will sink down into it and we're going to sink it down so that just the lettuce leaves are sticking up, and you'll see that you'll be able to place these right into the bookcase because of that open area inside it. So I'm going to try to place that here for now temporarily, and then line this up on top of it so that it looks like a shelf with brains in a jar. And that should be fine. And we're going to go in here and we're going to place this on top of this shelf right here. And this swamp witch, she's not really like an evil witch. Like, she's not going to be killing people in like boiling little children in the stews and whatnot. Although, that can be delectable, especially if it's like a cold day and you want some soup. But it's more like a gentle, jolly witch that just sits there and thinks about the ether and the darkness of the world. I don't think that's something to worry about, so we're just gonna, what we're doing is we have some hanging lights that we placed hanging from the bottom of this carpet. Now when you place the carpet on the camp node, it'll pop that bottom thing up to the top. And we're going to use this to get some floating firefly jar lights inside the building. So what I'm doing is I'm sinking it a bit. It's the reverse merge is what it's called. And then I'm putting another one on, and then I'm going to do more reverse merges once I can get the butt-fucking thing to place down on the camp module, which can be a bit of a difficulty. It can be a real difficulty. Now, this is probably the most exciting video you've seen. And I know it's probably in your top 5. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing and you're not yet subscribed, well, that's good, nice work. You can subscribe, it's free, but I genuinely don't recommend it, and I understand if you're not. That's fair. I would actually probably caution against it. Um, but that's something, you know. They said to say that on this card here, so I did. I don't think I was very compelling, but that's why I'm not selling cars, you know. Besides that, I don't want a job. I don't want to work. I just want to sit here and eat potato chips. Unfortunately, I just have what is this? Peanut brittle? Oh God, that's way too hard. So yeah, obviously very professional video making. This is good though. Really good peanut brittle. Now I noticed something weird about that spot in the tree where we couldn't build. There's this tree out back, and when I would hover over it with the display, it would disappear, and you can see like that weird there's like a weird discoloration on either side of that tree. You see that little weird. It's like a blob around the tree. And then I have this here, and it disappears when I stand in front of that line, and that line directly lines up with that area in the camp that I couldn't place those elm trees down. Just some weird witchcraft shit, you know? So I'm guessing the witch that lives in this hut probably just fucked up the game somehow with some spell or some incantation or whatever. So right here, I'm going to look for my camp module. There it is. And do a reverse merge. Once, actually, I'm going to move this here. So I want to put like some flowers in the upstairs window. So I'm going to just reverse merge that by placing it on the camp module. And by the way, placing it on different parts of the camp module will pop it up different amounts. So just be wary of that. Yeah, once I get it up in the air, then I'll place the succulent beneath the window, and it'll look like the upper flower is in the windowsill. I actually went and did this a second time because the first time I did it, let's face it, there's a succulent in the walkway. And I know I said that she was a witch of peace, but she still cares about egress. So that's the basic idea. But I'm not gonna have a succulent there. I'm gonna do the same exact thing, except I'm gonna use a conduit instead of the succulent for the bottom part, and I'm gonna pop that up like that. But let's look at the finished product here. Wow, it's a stump. You know, wow, we just made this. It's a stump. We made a stump, and we put it next to another stump, and now we live in it in the woods. That's fun. And there's having those other the other trees in the mix adds a little bit of foliage, like I said, to our giant chia pet of a camp that we built here. So that's really neat and adds some texture to it. And we did hide a roof in there, just keeps the rain off. We don't want to melt. I don't know if we would melt because we're like really powerful and all that. But look at those. You can actually see the volumetric God rays right there in those little mushrooms. What a picturesque scene. Too bad we're about to get our brains eaten by this witch. Well, no, she's not evil. She's nice. She's a nice witch. Here I have some little lights that are next to these stumps, and I sunk some flowers into that stump as well. For the front steps, put rocks. Up there you can see the little thing I made there. And this time there's a conduit, as you can see, holding that up. And you're able to place things down in the ground here because of those steps that are under the ground. They'll just place right on top of that. And those stones, I sunk them down a little bit on the drop merge and then just placed them on the steps that are there already. Added some torches to the outside of the tree because that's a really good idea, so it's not going to burn down. Inside here, I went a little nutty, I guess, and the decorations. I like woke up I was drooling, and I had like all these. There was like fingernail scratches all over the walls, but I had also decorated this build, and so I didn't get footage of doing some of this stuff. That's probably a good thing at this point. You guys are probably hoping that it's almost over, and it is. Don't you worry your little heads. But I was able to place. I burned the first bookcase, and I was able to place a second one right on top of it, and that allowed me to place those corns in there that you see, and that covered. There was a little piece of the hat that was like blending in with the uh, intersecting in with the top of that bookcase. But it looks really great. I think that the witch hat adds so much to this build that it's honestly my favorite part of the build, and definitely worth it, I think, because like you want your build to tell a story, right? And we have the cauldron, that's cute, that's nice, and we have the fact that it's a stump. But that witch hat, it just sets the scene. It's like the cherry on top, or whatever, cliche metaphor that you expected me to use, but I'm not going to be put into a box here. We're going to use a metaphor you've never heard before. That witch hat is like that okay, that's well, I'll so anyway, that's the build. That's looking good. And then over in this tree over here, I was able to hang some of those lights as well. That's really cute. But yeah, I really enjoyed this build. It was a lot different than the stuff I usually make, but with about the same level of crap, abilities and all that. But thank you so much for watching. If you've watched this far, maybe you also should schedule a therapy appointment. And I just want to say, if you guys are not in my Discord already, would be probably a good reason not to join, but you are welcome to join. Huge shout out to my patrons and channel members for your support. You guys, your support means so much to me. If you're interested in joining up, the links for those are in the description as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. And I'm going to, as well, probably transform in this full moon and start biting things. And I'm going to
eat some people that, well, no, not people. I'm not that kind of a witch, but I do enjoy